Our next speaker is going to talk to us about the importance of focus, about the importance of being a specialist, and how a company that we're about to see, called The Wonderful Company, are market leaders in not one and not two, but three categories. So a lot of companies set out, as you know, to hopefully become a market leader in a particular category. Angela Shanahan from The Wonderful Company is going to join us shortly, and she's going to talk about how Wonderful and their vertical integration and their focus helps them, as I say, dominate not one, not two, but three categories. It's going to be a really great session. Let's welcome Angela now.
It's such an honor. Thank you so much for having me. Today I want to begin by sharing a story with you. And this is a story that a lot of you have probably heard, but I'm pretty late to the game. I just heard it this year, and ever since, it has really, really stuck with me. So the story goes, there was this elephant. And when this elephant was a baby, some mean, horrible person tied this elephant up to a post. And the elephant didn't like this, so they struggled and they tried to break free, but they weren't big enough. They could not knock the post over or break the rope. And so after trying for a while, they eventually settled in to accept these circumstances. But as elephants do, this one got very large and very capable of breaking those ties, but he never tried again. He believed that this was his life. And so when I think about what makes someone or a team or a company extraordinary, I think that it starts in those moments. Those moments when we have a choice to get up and try after failure or get rid of past beliefs that are standing in our way. So I want to share a little bit about how these past few years have helped my team and I really be able to look at things from a fresh perspective. But before we do, I'm going to get into a little bit about The Wonderful Company. I want to introduce you. So if you have not heard of The Wonderful Company, we are a privately held, $5 billion company with 10,000 employees around the world. We have people located in the Central Valley in California, all the way to the islands of Fiji. And you might know us from some of our pretty iconic brands. So FIJI Water, Palm Wonderful, Teleflora, Wonderful Pistachios, Halos, and we have some amazing wine labels like Justin and Landmark and many, many others. As Darren mentioned, we dominate a couple of categories. So Wonderful Pistachios is America's #1 tree nut, which is pretty exciting. And I think the coolest statistic is that we are the fastest growing snack. Not the fastest growing snack nut or anything like that. Of all the snacks in the world, people want Wonderful Pistachios more and more every day, which I think is really encouraging because it means these are healthy choices, right? These are plant-based protein sources that really fuel our bodies in a healthy way. I could go on and on. I won't bore you with that. We are also the #1 Mandarin brand, Wonderful Halos, and Teleflora is the world's leading floral delivery service. But behind all of these brands is the belief that they have the ability to inspire healthy choices and build better communities. We want our customers to be proud of the products that they purchase from us. We want to do good. And we believe that our health and wellness message really does put us at a competitive advantage. So I want to take you now inside of The Wonderful Company and share with you our North Star. So this is really our roadmap to success. We call it the Wonderful Way. And when you work for a company like Wonderful, there's a lot of really great play on words that you get to come up with, like the Wonderful Way and many, many others. But essentially, these are our values. We really do live and breathe these things every single day. Just like Magic Johnson, if we're going to play the game, we are playing to win. We want to be number one. We do what's right, we have integrity, and we are honest. We adapt and we grow in a long-term, sustainable fashion. We work together as one wonderful. And my favorite, we nourish and develop our people. So we employ these things through our pillars. We've all got pillars likely. I'm not going to touch on all of these. I'm really here today to talk to you about our people. But before I do, there's something that makes the wonderful company really, really special, and it especially makes me proud to work there, and that is our philanthropy. So the wonderful company has a place-based philanthropy philosophy, which is very, very hard to say, and I practiced it many times. I'm very proud of myself, thank you. Which basically means that we want to focus our efforts in the areas that will impact the lives of our employees the most. This really began more than 10 years ago in the small Central Valley town of Lost Hills, California. Lost Hills is where our pistachio groves are. And it is where many of the people who work at our plants and our groves were living. And it was really clear that there was an opportunity to improve the lives of those employees and their families through things like parks and education and healthcare and all kinds of infrastructure. And I've been able to visit this town. It is remarkable that today we have beautiful parks and community centers like this, education and healthcare initiatives that really, really do better their lives. And it was this project, it was this undertaking and this success that has led us to expand our philanthropy into other areas where we live and work, like Los Angeles, where we're headquartered, or Texas, where our citrus operations are, or Fiji, where, of course, our water comes from. But something else that makes us really special, in addition to our philanthropy, is the belief and the ultimate confidence we have in our people. We believe that nobody can do what we do better than we can, which is why we control every single part of the ecosystem, from farm to table, right down to wonderful bees, which pollinate our trees. Neptune Pacific Direct Line, which ships our products around the world. That's ours. It's pretty cool. And my little corner of the world, which is wonderful sales. Now, if you're familiar with the consumer packaged goods industry, you know that a lot of companies rely on a broker to bring those products out to market. But not us. We have our very own sales and merchandising business unit that actually services our halos, pomegranates, pistachios, and Fiji water. We get them out to over 20,000 markets with a team of 250 salespeople. Now, these salespeople are located all across North America. They're field-based. They're all working from an iPad or a phone, and this is their office, this cute little branded Prius. In fact, this used to be my office. So back in 2013, I started with the wonderful company, and I started as an entry-level retail sales merchandiser. I was fresh out of a different career in interior design, which seems a little strange. I don't know how I got here, actually. And I was a new mom, and I was looking for a change. So this company that I hadn't really heard of hired me, they believed in me, they whisked me off to Los Angeles. They put me through a week-long intensive sales training, and Bob Chapman would be really proud. They taught us how to listen and how to be persuasive, and they set us free in our territories with the mission of getting our products where the people are. I fell in love with this company. I fell in love with the way they treated us and the products that we sold and the cool things that I got to do. And I was really lucky because I was able to get opportunities in management and later learning and development. In fact, I think I was asked to be a subject matter expert at a training and a good old SME. And when I had the opportunity to teach people what I knew, I felt that fire, that spark light inside of me. You guys might have felt this before, where you were like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. So I put together this career progression package. It was very audacious of me, I feel. It included classes that I needed them to pay for, and maybe someday they could create a position on the learning team for me. I presented it to the VP, and I don't know how, but it got approved. And here I am 5 years later, and I'm leading a team of 2 other people who have very, very similar stories to mine. It is our strong belief in developing people and always promoting from within that gives my team of learning professionals the deep understanding they need to serve our population. We had always had a really good learning program, but like a lot of businesses, we relied very heavily on the put them on a plane, fly them to LA approach, right? It worked pretty well. It was really fun, but we all know what happens next. It's March 2020, and the world as we know it shuts down. And our 250 salespeople in the field are grounded at home. We're not furloughing people, we're not cutting pay. They are told to just stay home, receive pay, see if you can find a way to be productive. So, of course, everyone says, maybe I'll try and learn something. Maybe I can brush up on my skills right now. And they start to flood our inbox, and we have practically nothing. We have always done in-person training. So we have them log on to our, at the time, very, very clunky LMS, and they're looking through the off-the-shelf content. You guys know the content I'm talking about. They're trying to find something that is relevant to their jobs, and they're pretty unsuccessful. So it's at this moment that my team knows, okay, we have essential employees. They have to go back out into the field. We need to act quickly, but this is the chance for us to take a look at the posts that we are tethered to. Why have we always done it the way we have done it? Are those real parameters? Did we impose them? Are they historical? And if they're not real, what are they? What are our guidelines? Well, as we started to look at this landscape, 2 main things became the priority. Number 1, we had to keep everybody safe. Not just safe now from accidents on the road or, a back injury in the store, but now a potentially life-threatening virus. And then 2, you guys remember what was happening in grocery stores at this time, right? We had to sell some products. We needed to get out there and support these stores. So our learning objectives were to get them what they needed when they needed it and get it to fit in the flow of their work, because they had some real important jobs to do out there. So over the course of 2020 and 2021, we implemented new solutions like EdApp. We were able to take a very traditional defensive driving course that was, your hour-long typical sit down at a laptop and just try to power through it and break it into beautifully done micro-learnings that help our team drive safely in the field. We also created a really cool advanced selling program that blended micro-learnings from EdApp with workshops, virtual workshops, and then really cool rapid refresh knowledge checks, which I am seeing some very, very cool results from. And also, it required our training team to learn a lot of new skills, like animation, how to animate those role plays that we try to teach people in our sales training, right? Most of the time we just do that through role plays. Also, we had to learn how to compress really large video files, which, thank you, Summer, for your help with that, because I don't know why that took me like way too long, but it was one of the biggest learning curves I had. So everyone's learning a lot. And I'll tell you, the results are looking really, really positive. First of all, just this year alone, we launched 24 new courses. This is everything from emotional intelligence to building trust, price negotiations, and active shooter training. Compared to previous years, we did 5. That is an incredible increase. Because of our driver safety training, we've had 2 months accident-free, which with a huge fleet like we have is a very big accomplishment. And my favorite is people really, really like these learning solutions. In fact, I've had people come to me and say that they don't feel like training is a burden anymore. It feels like a break in their day. Isn't that awesome? I also didn't realize I was a burden until now. So good learning on my part. But all of the analytics and the dashboards and all the results in the world don't compare to the stories that we hear. And it's a recent story that has stuck with me so much about a young woman who joined our company this year, who went through our defensive driving course. And in that course, it teaches you that you need to be looking 15 seconds ahead when you're driving down the road. Have you guys heard this? It's really important because normally we get really focused on like what's going on right around us, and we can miss, like something in the road or a potential hazard. Well, Laura, driving from store to store down a freeway, is employing this principle, and she sees a vehicle driving the wrong way down a freeway, coming straight at her. Now, I get a little bit emotional when I think about this because I have never been in this situation before, and it terrifies me to think that one of our employees was while they were at work. It was because Laura was able to see that person coming, that she could safely and calmly get out of the way. And she was able to make it home to her family that night. And it's this kind of stuff, these results, that mean absolutely everything to us. This is why we do what we do. So looking ahead, we definitely know that mobile learning is our future. We do believe that we want to still go to LA from time to time and get together and like party and hang out, but we will be employing a very mobile first and blended approach. Like a lot of businesses, this really works for us. So at our desks right now, you will find my team and I working tirelessly to reformat career progression resources into a mobile format and take care of this big onboarding problem and make it a really, really cool mobile experience for all of the people who are joining the wonderful company. Thank you so much.
That was really, really good. Let's jump straight into what the DNA is at Wonderful that lets you, as we say, dominate 3 categories. What do you think sets Wonderful apart?
I think that we clearly have some really high quality products. I think it's something that we believe in, but there's a lot of companies who have great products out there, right? And it really is this amazing culture of believing in our people, especially that we empower our people to change, process, and fix broken systems from the ground up. So continuous improvement is a really big part of our culture. And when people feel empowered to make that change, it is remarkable how much smarter we can work together. It's been huge.
And there must be that belief. We had a discussion last night that Wonderful doesn't even employ an external agency to even look at something highly specialized like advertising. You even keep that in-house.
We do. all of our commercials, which if you've ever seen them, we're pretty well known for our pistachio commercials. They're, I think, very funny. But it's all done in-house, which I think is really remarkable.
Yeah.
We can really specialize and focus in on the things that make us great.
Yeah.
It is that.
And I mean, I don't know if anyone, has ever thought about it, but the notion of having your own bees.
Yeah, right? Isn't that cool?
And I'm guessing that you take them from,
We do.
paddock to paddock.
We take them all over the country, and they even make honey, which I have yet to taste, but I'm hoping that I get a sample someday. But yeah.
I think that commitment to excellence is what that reflects. And it's not just bees. There's right down to pest control. Everything is produced by Wonderful that then goes into their products, which then, results in these market-leading brands.
Yeah.
You talked about the importance of your people. And there was you touched on some of the philanthropic endeavours as well. And there's one particular element that we touched on in our discussions, which was about employees. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so, we do carry this place-based philosophy over to our employees. Like, I live in San Diego. I don't live in the Central Valley or in Texas and some of the areas where these major philanthropic endeavors are undertaking. But in order for me to feel like I can give back to my community, they actually give every single employee, every single year, a $1,000 grant to donate to a charity of their choice, which is unheard of. And I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite things about working at this company, because I have a young family, and every year we get to sit down together at the table and think about what really matters to us. Do we want to give to an organization that we perhaps adopted our dog from, right?
Wow.
Or, what is there something that they really care about? And it's really helped instill this philanthropic, these ideals in them as well. It's very special.
And as you say, it's very based on location.
It is, yeah. So you can give to the Red Cross or large organizations, but I can also give to my local school or the homeless shelter or the soup kitchen that helps the people that live down the street that need it the most, that I know need it the most.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that cool?
Like you say, and you then see the results, I guess, is one of the great benefits. Someone, in your position gets to see or have an overview of a total approach to learning. So you're able to see all of those, thousands of people and how they're engaging with, various forms of training and learning. And you came up against COVID, and as you said, everything, needed to be changed. What do you think it looks like now as a broad group post-COVID? So we will have, a hybrid working models potentially, but also the same could be said for, a learning program. How do you think you'll settle once, once we land?
Well, we've really started to think of, we actually looked at EdApp initially as a way to reinforce what we were teaching in the classrooms, but now we're thinking about it as the way we teach, and then we can reinforce in other really cool ways. We can use that precious time that we have together to discuss versus teach, which I think is going to be really impactful. And so it's kind of flipping the way that we're doing everything. Yep. And what I love about having this mobile approach and being able to collect data is I've been able to go super deep on my evaluations. So we have level 1, 2, and level 3 evaluation feedback, which is knowledge transfer, behavior change, all there for us, which we've never really had before. Yeah. That's very, very cool.
You shared with me recently also that a consultant was super surprised when they had a look at the solution that you have, that you had all of this, data on, this huge employee base.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, the assumption is if we're doing something mobile that it's pretty surface level, and it's not. It's incredibly robust to the I can see which teams are the most engaged, which leaders are going in to see that their teams are taking these courses and embracing these things. And it's a very, very powerful tool that as we go into planning and making business decisions will help us.
Awesome. I've got a couple more questions. If there's any from the audience, please step up. You talked about the impact on safety, and there was the one example there, and we're already seeing some metrics on safety being improved. What about other high performance metrics? Have you been able to see a change in behavior and allowing teams to, do that the best work they obviously do at Wonderful? Have you seen a change there since the adoption of micro learning and a digital approach?
I have. So, I mentioned that we did this huge advanced selling course, and actually just last night I got an email from one of our headquarters salespeople. So these are the people who they actually sell the product into like the major chains out there, right? And we taught a big EQ course. It was the first course we launched on EdApp, and it's still one of my favorite. And he said, Angela, I had to call you immediately. He called me and then emailed me. I had to tell you this story immediately because I just opened a customer that I've been trying to get for a really long time. He said, emotional intelligence was it. It was the key. And then he said, which I love, and you guys will too, training works.
Wow.
Right? So it's stories like that I think are just incredible. And it will show in the data, especially as we start to ship some of those things.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We've got a question down here.
Hello.
Here we go.
Hello.
I was curious. I remember in one of your values, you brought up growth, but sustainable growth. And you're in an industry that sustainability can be tough in, especially mass agriculture, a lot of kind of stigma around that. So I'm curious, I'm going to metaphorically toss you a softball here to tell us what you're doing to stay sustainable in such an interesting field.
Yeah. I think it's a great question, and it's really important. So when we think about sustainable growth, there's a lot of decisions that are made by people that are much smarter than I am about our agriculture and how we grow things. But there are a lot of decisions made about, how we pull trees, how we plant trees, how we, water is a really big deal right now, and how we are making sure that we're being responsible citizens in those ways. And so, I wish that I had all of those beautiful answers to give you, but it is a really remarkable thing to hear about some of the approaches that they have to farming, which I don't really know enough about to answer your question, but it's very, very awesome.
Yeah,
and we could do more. I will say, I think we can do more, and I think we're trying to do more, and we're never really great at it.
Yeah, the key difference is, of course, is you own all of the
it.
So
yeah,
that's naturally going to involve some sort of sustainable approach because they're your assets. It's very different from buying it from someone else, and as you say, just trying to turn over the product. In this case,
that was the softball.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
Helped you out. Do we have one more? I think we do.
Yeah, there's a couple more behind me too. So.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So you guys, obviously, you manage the whole process, right, from the very beginning to the very end. So everything is in-house. So there's so many areas of the business that you guys need to track. How do you track the quality and find maybe new areas or opportunities for training around all these areas of the process? And if you're not sure how do you track that, maybe having a conversation about iAuditor could.
This is a sales guy here, right?
Yes.
So, well done. He just hit his budget.
Okay, these are great. Yeah, well done. No, I've enjoyed learning about the product a lot. I think it's very, very interesting, and yes, thank you for that.
Oh,
good,
wow.
good suggestion.
Pitch. Pitch during Q&A.
Yeah, but it's. I think quality is we have some really cool things going on with quality that make us really special, especially in our plants, which I get the opportunity to visit on occasion, and it is really, really remarkable the things they are doing there.
Awesome.
All right, I got a question. So you mentioned before with training, your team was like, it's a burden. So how are you truly able to change that culture so quickly and get that engagement right off the back with COVID going on?
Man, It has everything to do with our leadership. I think setting this example and understanding the importance of it, right? Our team does want to grow and learn, and because we have this really cool development culture and promoting from within, they know that it's available to them and it's very valuable as well. So when we were able to make that shift, we got our managers on board. It's the first people we sat down. We're going to do this. This is the expectation. And what's so cool is because everything is so short, they were like, yeah, no big deal, right? But trying to get somebody to come out of the field for 60 minutes, 2 hours for a webinar even, which is I don't think has a lot of impact, is very hard to ask for, and that feels like a burden. So I think we were meeting them where they were too, which is really important.
But you basically got buy-in at the top. This is the new approach we want to take to learning, and then, and then we get it rolled out across the company.
Absolutely. That buy-in from leadership was critical.
Awesome.
First off, the pistachio ads are hilarious. So awesome that they are all made in-house. Big fan.
Thank you so much. I did not have anything to do with that, but yes.
Come on, you can
Go ahead. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Secondly, you mentioned at the very end you're working on, you and your team, some career progression courses, and I think that's such a vital element to an employee really feeling empowered at a company and in their role. Can you talk just a little bit about, at the wonderful company, what you guys do to bring those conversations up and maybe even some of the courses that you're working on?
Oh, I'd love to. Oh, yes, this is like right here for me right now. Yeah, so, we implemented a really cool new performance management program a couple of years ago called Grow. And it really helped our managers and our people really take control of these ongoing conversations. So we have that going on, which is really nice. But what my team and some of our other team around us are doing is working on those matrices and progression models. So really saying, what does great look like at every level? What does good look like? What does you need to do some work look like? And how can our team as a training team say, hey, if you find yourself here's what you can do. And maybe it's not a course that you watch. Maybe it is, here are 3 steps you can take, right? So we're trying to untether ourselves from learning, from courses being the only way that you learn. Maybe there is a simple action you can take that can give you some immediate feedback. And so we're creating, at first, 3 learning paths, 1 for sales, 1 for management, 1 for leadership, which should be rolling out in the next few months, and I am deeply excited about it. It will be wonderful. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, I think I might finish off with just one last question.
Great.
And you have the opportunity, again, not just to look across the entire company, but especially being exposed to a lot of leaders over your time at the wonderful company. And you see a lot of, I guess, programs be implemented. You see the different ways that people choose to lead. As a broad question, what's your view on leadership, and what have you seen that's great?
I feel like if we could package up everything we've heard over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of head nodding on my part, right? I'm a relatively new leader in the past 10 years, but I think, just like we heard this morning, I've always felt like a leader, like I just really want to take charge of things, and it's a blessing and a curse. But I think that listening and really believing in your people, believing that they all want to do the greatest work that they can is everything. And stepping back and getting out of their way and letting them do it is really what it looks like to me when you empower your people.
Awesome. Everyone, please join me in thanking Angela.
Thank you so much. This was fun.